According to the Wall Street Journal, since 1990, the annual participation in high school lacrosse has increased from 30,000 students, most of which were boys, to a total of 143,000 students, both boys and girls. How many of you guys have actually heard of lacrosse before? All of you? And how many of you guys actually know anything about lacrosse? That's for the concept and the history of the game. None of you, that's what I thought. Well, today I'm going to give you guys a basic overview of what lacrosse is and how it came about. The earliest form of the game was played by the Native Americans anywhere from the 1700s to 1800s. It's not recorded when exactly was the first game ever played, but it was somewhere around that time. The games usually lasted anywhere from 2 to 3 days, which if you ask a lacrosse player now, they'll tell you how amazing that is because we can barely play for an hour at a time. They use lacrosse as a means of ritual before war. They actually nicknamed it the little brother of war. It was a very aggressive game, and they used absolutely no padding and these wooden sticks that you see there. The inside of the sticks were made out of leather strings to hold the ball, and the ball was a animal fur stuffed into animal hide. At any point in the game, there was roughly 200 to 300 players on the field, and they played out on the field from anywhere from 500 yards to half a mile. Around the 1840s is when the French-Canadian settlers first got wind of the game, and they actually organized it and put a set of rules down on paper by 1856. They established the size of the field, which now sits at 110 yards in length and 60 yards wide. It also has 4 quarters, 15 minutes apiece, with 12-minute intermission at halftime. Unlike the Native American game, there's only 10 players on the field at a time. You have 3 attackmen, 3 midfielders, and 3 D-poles, or defensive men, and 1 goalie. The attackmen only stay on the offensive side of the field, and they use the 4-foot sticks, as you can see there. The midfielders can transfer both offensive and defensive, and they use the same size sticks. The defensive guys use the 6-foot poles, that's why we call them D-poles, and they can only stay on the defensive side of the field. And then obviously the goalies protect the goal and they stop any balls from going in. The way the game is played today, we actually have metallic hollow shafts and plastic heads with a mesh netting on the inside to hold a rubber ball. And we actually use protective padding unlike the Native Americans. We use helmets, shoulder pads, elbow pads, and gloves. By far, lacrosse is still a growing sport, and it's most popular in the northeastern region of the United States, which happens to be where the Native Americans were most prevalent. It is expanding towards the south states like Florida and Georgia, and the west coast like California, and starting to even hit some states like Colorado. Not only is it growing domestically, but internationally, we're starting to see a huge influx of European countries starting to participate. Matter of fact, in the 2014 World Games, we had a total of 38 countries participate, and 19 of them were from Europe, and then 6 from Asia, and then 1 apiece from both Africa and South America. A team from Australia, as you can see there, New Zealand, and then the rest were filled in by Central American and North American countries. The game is starting to gain so much traction that the Federation of International Lacrosse, or the FIL, fully expects lacrosse to be in the Olympics by 2024. By then, they are projected to have over 100 countries be part of the organization. And as many people know, the 2020 games, Japan is hosting them. What most people actually don't know is that Japan, as you can see there, has a huge lacrosse following. It's actually starting to get very, very popular over there. With every Olympics, the host country is allowed to petition the International Olympic Committee for a demonstration sport. What that pretty much means is that they can participate in the games and the countries can play, but no medals are actually given out as a way to kind of gauge the global interest, and they can find out if there's actually any purpose for it to be in future Olympic Games. Now, if Japan were to petition the IOC for lacrosse as a demonstration sport, this would be huge. It would launch lacrosse onto a global scale and actually finally get it up there with the rest of the American sports. Lacrosse is by far the lesser known of all the American sports, but it's actually the oldest, dating back all the way to the 1700s and 1800s with the Native Americans. But because of all of the updates and the modernization, trying to get the game a little bit more exciting and faster pace, we're starting to see a huge trend of more and more involvement in the game, higher participation rates. Along with that, the appearance of lacrosse in the Olympics is very near, and the earliest we can see is possibly 2020. Hopefully by 2024, we'll actually have it in there full time. Hopefully now that you guys know the basic overview of lacrosse, the next time you guys see it on TV, you won't change the channel, or you might even be able to pick up a stick and try it out for yourself. Thank you.